Hi, everyone. So again, my name is Brittany with Scott Livery Marketing. In today's class, we're going to be going over the website 201. So this is going to be customizing your command website. We are going to be adding some custom pages. We're going to be adding some additional widgets, mortgage calculator, the Homekeeper platforms, a school search, as well as some past sales. I'm going to show you guys how to add completely custom content to your website and just kind of make sure that it's formatted so it shows up correctly and it's centered and you guys have access to edit all of that. So to start, everything is going to be done on the command platform. So I'm just going to be logging in via agent.kw.com. Once I'm logged into the command platform, the first thing I like to go over for really any of our classes is going to be the marketing profile. The marketing profile is where you guys are actually going to have access to edit your information. This is going to be where you guys can customize your email, or if you guys are maybe updating a phone number, a headshot, or any of that information, we're going to want to make sure that all of that is showing up correctly on the marketing profile to start. So once you guys are logged into command, we're just going to click on our name in the top right-hand corner, and then we're going to select settings. Once this page loads for you, we're just going to click on connect settings on the left-hand side, and you guys are going to see marketing profile is nestled right underneath that. And most of you will probably already have this set up. We're just going to spot check it and make sure everything looks good. Once we click on marketing profile, your page should look pretty similar to mine. You guys should have your headshot showing or a KW logo if you have not yet obtained a headshot, completely fine. But it should look pretty similar to mine. You'll notice the first thing is the headshot that's populating, and then we have the team logo. For the headshot, you do want to make sure that this is cropped to populate as a square. If you have not cropped your headshot to be a perfect square and you've already added it in here, you may notice that it's populating distorted. So you will want to make sure that you crop that and then you can re-add it in and it will actually populate everywhere for you. It will update itself. But if you are seeing your headshot distorted right here, it is going to be distorted on all of your marketing platforms. So you do want to make sure that is updated. Underneath that, we have our team logo. The team logo is actually smart enough to correct itself. So if it looks distorted here, that's completely fine. It is going to show up properly on all of your marketing. You'll notice that her team logo, the one that Lori uses for all of her team platforms, it is more of like a rectangle. So it does squish it right here. However, on all of her marketing, the logo will show up correctly. And this is going to be, again, website, her mobile app, her smart plans, any email campaign she sends out, it will be on the footer for her. So this is really going to be pulling for everything. This is why we want to make sure this information is correct. Underneath that, we have our basic information, starting with our name, first name, last name. As far as this goes, if you guys go by a nickname, you can by all means add that nickname in. However, if you are with a board or with a brokerage that does require you to have your full legal name on everything, we just recommend touching base with your broker in charge just to make sure that it is within compliance for you guys to go by a nickname. So just make sure before you guys update anything, just confirm with your broker in charge. Underneath that, we have our agent license number. You'll notice she also has put the state that she's licensed in. If you are dual licensed and you're practicing real estate in more than one state, this is a great way to kind of market that. So you guys can actually put the state initials with your license number and then like the and sign or a dash or whatever you'd like in order to split them. But this is a great place just to market that you're practicing real estate in more than one state or that you're licensed in more than one state. Then you have your team name. If you're not associated with a team, you're not a part of a team, completely fine. We still recommend that you put something here, whether it's your first and last name, realtor with Keller Williams, realtor with Keller Williams Realty Select, whatever brokerage you're with, because this is actually going to customize the drop-down list on your physical website. So the drop-down list where all of the pages that we're adding today, your team name is actually the name of that drop-down list. So this just, again, allows you to add a little bit of customization to that site. Underneath that, we have your professional job title and your designation. This is where you'll want to put in your professional job title. If you guys are realtors, licensed real estate agents, this will actually depend on your board and your state that you're practicing real estate in. Some states require you to have something very specific for your job title. Again, this is something you'll want to confirm with your broker in charge, or really the market center staff. They should be able to give you that information as well. But for example, for agents that are licensed in the state of New York, they require to actually have licensed real estate representative, I believe. So in other words, just make sure whatever verbiage is the compliant option, that's what needs to be populating for your professional job title. For your designations and credentials, if you guys have obtained additional designations and credentials, this is a great place to market them. For example, she's a part of ALC, she's taken Bold, she's also done the course for the Senior RE Specialist. Underneath that, we have our bio. You'll notice here that Lori has her bio with all of the line breaks that she wants it to populate with. That is something that you do want to make sure you're adding in. This will allow your bio to actually syndicate out to not only your mobile app, but it's also going to be how it populates on your agent profile. Meaning if somebody comes across your agent profile on the office website, this is how your bio is going to populate. So you do want to make sure that everything's spelled correctly, that it is formatted the way that you want it to populate. And this is something that you can come in later and adjust as well. Nothing that we are setting up right now is locked in stone. You can always adjust it from your marketing profile. Underneath that, we have contact information, starting with our mobile number and office number. You'll notice that she has her mobile number for both. There are some states that do require you have the office number on your marketing. Again, broker in charge, touch base with them. Just make sure that if that is the case, that you're following that, again, just for compliance purposes. You'll also notice that none of the phone numbers actually have formatting added. Command is smart enough to add that formatting to about 90% of the platforms. And if it doesn't add that formatting in, you can manually add it when you go to create something. For example, one of the pages that we'll be creating today will manually type those dashes in. However, all of the other platforms, they will automatically pull with those dashes. You are welcome to add the dashes in here or the parentheses. However, again, some of the pages that we create today will actually require you remove them. So I just leave the phone numbers unformatted and I add the dashes in when it's necessary. But that's completely up to you guys. Underneath that, we have our email and our website. Email, this is going to be whatever email address you guys are using for marketing. If you're not using the Keller Williams email, maybe you purchased a custom domain or you're just using a Gmail email, whatever it may be, that's completely fine. Just keep in mind whatever email is on this section right here, that's what all of your clients are going to see. So you need to make sure that it's essentially an email address that you're checking and an email address that you planned on using for all of your marketing. For your website, that needs to be hyperlinked. So in other words, you'll notice here that Lori is using a custom URL. So hers begins with HTTP. If you guys are using the command URL on all of your marketing, it would end in .kw.com. And then you would also want to make sure that it's HTTPS, semicolon, // Having that HTTP or HTTPS will actually make your website clickable from all of your marketing. Meaning, again, if someone comes across your mobile app, someone comes across your profile on the office website, they're going to be able to see your website and actually click it, and it will bring them right to it, rather than them having to copy and paste that into a browser. So it's just making things a little bit easier for them. And if you guys ever question what your URL should be, HTTP or HTTPS, if you guys actually plug that into a new page, you can copy it exactly from the browser. You'll notice the one that I'm on right now is HTTPS. It will update it for you. So if you ever question that, you can just copy and paste it from the browser right in here. Underneath that is all of our brokerage information, starting with our brokerage logo, which will correct itself. I know it looks very funny right here. Same thing with the team logo. It is smart enough to actually populate that correctly on all of your marketing platforms. If your office does not have a specific brokerage logo, completely fine. You can use the traditional Keller Williams logo. We also have that on file if you guys need it, or if you guys ever question your actual brokerage logo, whether they have one or not, you can always shoot us an email because we keep all of them on file. On the right-hand side, we have our brokerage information, starting with our brokerage market center name. You'll want to make sure this is completely filled out. When Command first came out, we noticed a lot of agents were only putting the actual DBA, so like Sunset Corridor. You do want to make sure it says Keller Williams Realty or Keller Williams, whatever you guys go by. Underneath that, we have the brokerage office number. Same thing applies. If they don't require you to have your office number on your marketing, you can essentially use your mobile number again. Or if you guys have like a Google Voice number, or maybe you have an office within the actual market center, whatever it may be, you guys can add that number in. But you just want to make sure that you're following compliance. Underneath that, we have our market center brokerage street address. You do want to make sure that the full actual street address is in the first section, and then you have your city state zip underneath. Make sure that the entire address is populating. Also make sure that this is your office address. Make sure that it's not your personal home address. We have seen that a couple of times. Underneath that, we have our brokerage license number, which is not mandatory, but if you happen to have it, you can add that in. And again, all of this information that we're adding to the marketing profile will help market everything. It's actually going to brand your smart plans, your website, everything. So that's why I like to go over this first. Underneath that, we have our compliance. For legal footer text, you guys may have something like each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated. Lori added in that she's licensed in both Oregon and Washington. You guys can essentially add in whatever you need to add in, or if your brokerage or board requires specific text to be added to all of your marketing, this is where you would type that in. And again, the beauty of this compliance section that we're about to just kind of touch upon, this is going to, again, brand everything. So you're not going to have to worry about updating smart plans each time you send out a smart plan or an email campaign. All of this information is going to automatically be added to the footers of those platforms by default. So you can't accidentally forget something for compliance. It will automatically brand that for you. So this is great to make sure that you have that done. Underneath that, we have our legal footer links. A lot of states won't have to use the legal footer links. However, if you are licensed in Texas, you need to have your IABS forms added here. So if you are licensed in the state of Texas, you need your information about brokerage services and your CPN. Both of those PDFs have to be on everything that you run real estate through. So you need to make sure that those are added here. If you're with a board or a brokerage that just requires a specific document, or I know I've noticed a lot of agents have added like COVID information to this platform, that's completely fine. If it's a document that you want to make sure is on everything, whether it's just notification, maybe protocol of what you're going by, you can essentially add in a link and it will allow you to give it a name. And then you would just add the shareable document URL. Your Gmail, Google Drive is great for hosting that, and it will populate everywhere for you. And we can also help with that. If you guys get stuck, you can shoot us an email, support@scottleverymarketing.com. Underneath that, we have our legal footer images. This is essentially for specific images that need to be added to your platforms for compliance. If you don't have anything that needs to be added there, again, I think the only state that I've seen that requires actual images is the state of Maine. They need their equal housing and the Maine IDX board logo. If you guys are outside of the state of Maine, you essentially don't have to use this. I have seen agents using this for their designation logos, which is very creative. If you've obtained additional designation logos, you can actually add those logos in here and they'll populate everywhere. Kind of cool. It will just help you push that branding out a little bit further. Moving down to social, these are your social media platforms. One huge recommendation for these platforms, make sure that they are business related. My personal recommendation would not be to add your personal pages on here, specifically because this is going to, again, be put on everything. So your website, your mobile app, your agent profile, this is going to be something that everybody is going to be able to see. So if you have not yet set up a business page for Facebook, a business page for Twitter, Instagram, don't stress, you can always do that down the line and just plug the URL in here, and that will allow you to essentially market that page. I would avoid putting a personal URL here. YouTube and LinkedIn. YouTube is a great tool, especially if you guys are doing like virtual walkthroughs with everything going on. This is a great add-on. You guys can throw the actual channel URL right on this page and it will just broadcast it for you. Same thing for LinkedIn. Any profile you make on LinkedIn is really business related, so you'll be covered with that one. Moving down to Facebook pixel ads and Google Analytics. This is going to be a great thing to set up. We actually have tip videos on both of them, and those are included in the notes that I've put together. I realize if you are in the live class, I think I shared my notes for the actual class and not my notes for you guys. Don't worry, I will drop that URL in the chat for you guys. If you're watching the recording, I've hyperlinked the notes for the class underneath this video, which is just going to have breakdowns on how to set up Facebook pixels and how to set up Google Analytics, as well as everything that we're going over in class. So it will kind of break everything down for you. These are great tools though. They're just going to help you out with tracking. So this will track all of your traffic for Facebook ads run through command. Google Analytics is going to help you track the traffic for your command website. So kind of cool. Underneath that, we have your branded KW app link. For your branded KW app link, you do want to make sure that it starts with app.kw.com. If your URL here is longer and it does not start with that, chances are it's not your actual branded app link. And I'm going to start by actually showing you where to obtain that URL. So if you're looking at this and it doesn't look right, don't panic. We'll start off by actually showing you where to obtain that, and you can paste that in later. Another recommendation, pull that up on a separate tab and just make sure it's yours. Make sure it's branded to you. Again, this is actually going to populate everywhere for you. It's just another way to get your mobile app out there. If you're a part of a team or you're a spouse team, maybe you're working with a sibling, depending on how you guys want to market those, just make sure that whichever URL you want to be branding and marketing with is the one that's populating here. If you guys made any tweaks or adjustments, you do want to make sure that you're clicking save at the bottom of the page. And then you guys should get this little prompt. If you didn't make any adjustments, this won't pop up, so don't panic. This is just letting you know that everything was saved. I'm going to X out of that. Last but not least, before diving into the actual website, you do want to make sure that the top right-hand corner is toggled to populate as green. What this means is that all of the information that you guys just set up is going to be shared with the command platforms. So you definitely want to make sure that that's populating as green. If not, click it. A compliance pop-up will come up. You can acknowledge it. It's essentially just letting you know everything does have to be compliant, and then it will toggle to be in green for you. Once you guys have done that, we're going to jump into the actual consumer section. And by doing that, it's the last icon on the left-hand side. And if you guys ever question that, if you click on the white KW in the red square, it will actually label all of them for you. We're just going to go ahead and click on consumer. And then, like I said, I just want to show you guys where the mobile app URL is first. So if you don't need that, you don't have to follow along with this. I am going to come right back to this page. But if you do need the mobile app URL, site and app settings on the top right-hand corner. And then once you guys are on this page, you'll see the URLs tab. And once we click on URLs, you'll see this is where our command URL is, and here is our mobile app URL. You unfortunately can't change that URL, but it is the one that is designated to you and branded with all of your information. So if you guys ever question that, that's where that's located, site and app settings under consumer. Now I'm just going to jump back here. So once you guys have clicked on the consumer page, it should bring you to landing pages. These are all standalone pages. Everything that we are going to be doing today is going to be out of agent site pages, which is the next tab over. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on agent site pages. And once you guys click on that, you should see something similar to my screen. It should have your URL populating here. You should probably have 3 pages, maybe 2, maybe more, maybe less. But this is essentially letting you know that your command website is live. If your command website is not live and you're not seeing a URL populating here, you can go through this class. However, it would be my recommendation to watch the 101 class first rather than diving into the 201, because really your website should be set up before you start adding custom pages, just as a heads up. What I am going to do really quick is I'm going to post my notes again into the actual chat so you guys have these, because this is essentially what we are going to be going over during class, just so you guys can follow along. Sometimes it's easier to see them. Again, if you guys are following along with the recording, this is all going to be hyperlinked at the bottom of the page. And then you'll see it just kind of breaks everything down. Perfect. Okay, so to start, what we're going to be doing is, again, we're going to be adding some of the custom pages to your website, starting with some of the widgets that are provided to you guys by Keller Williams. We're also going to go over how to add a mortgage calculator. We're going to go over how to add the Homekeeper widgets and a Schools widget. And then we're also going to touch upon how to add completely custom content to the website at the end of class. That being said, when creating these website pages, rather than creating the page and instantly making it live, I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through how to create all of the pages first, and then we're going to go back at the end and make them all live together. That way we're not jumping around as much. It will make it a little bit easier, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. That way you know kind of what we're going to be doing. Once you guys are on this page, again, if you're just logging on, I noticed a couple people just signed in. Command, we're going to click consumer, and then we're on agent site pages. And we're just going to go ahead and click on create a new page in the top right hand corner. Once this pops up, we are always going to be selecting the top option for every single page that we're adding today. So I'm just going to click on my agent site, make sure that's the one that's outlined, and then go ahead and create the page. For the first page that I'm going to be adding is going to be the Mobile App Widget. This is essentially a widget that is provided to you guys by Keller Williams, and it's going to allow people to download your app from your website, which is kind of nice. So the first thing we always want to do for every single page that you ever add to your command website is give it a name. This is going to make it a lot easier when you go to make edits down the line, or when you go to make the page live. It's just going to tell you what page it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and label this mobile app. Once it has a name, on the right-hand corner, you guys are going to see the actual widgets that are provided to you guys by Keller Williams. The team widget, this is fantastic if you guys are a part of a team. It allows you just to pull all of your team members to one page and just kind of promote their headshot and their contact information. Agent profile we will be using today, which we'll be going over. It essentially pulls another version of your bio. Contact form is exactly that. It's just a lead generation form. However, keep in mind that this is automatically locked in on your website. So there's automatically a contact form on the bottom of every single page. So adding another one is a little bit redundant. So don't worry about adding that specifically. You have your testimonials carousel and your testimonials list. The carousel is going to allow you to promote 4 testimonials. The list is going to allow you to promote 10. Just keep that in mind. Then you have your company profile, which we will be using as one of our templates today. So I'll go over that a little bit further in a little bit. And then we have our testimonial capture form. This allows you to actually capture testimonials on your website. And then once you have captured them, you can utilize either the testimonials list or carousel, and it will promote those testimonials. We do have a specific tip video that goes over both of these. Depending on time, I may be able to show you guys how to add it. Worst case scenario, I have hyperlinked our tip video in the notes that I just dropped in the chat. And then we also have our download my app, and that's actually the one that we are going to be starting with. So in order to actually utilize any of these widgets, all we're going to do is click down and drag it over to our blank space. and then release your mouse, and it will drop that widget there for you. Once you guys have just dragged and dropped that over, we can tweak this a little bit further, customize it, maybe add our name and just kind of make it a little bit more our own. In order to do that, we're just going to click on Configure Widgets on the bottom right-hand side of your page. You may have to scroll down a little bit depending on your view, but we're just going to click on Configure Widget. Once you guys click on that, it's just going to show the widget that you're currently using, and you're just going to go ahead and click on that. So it says download my app, and we're just going to click right on that to get the editable page. Once we have this, we have our headline currently set up as download the KW app. You guys can tweak this however you see fit. If you want to add your name, if you want to add your team name, whatever you want. So for this, I'm just going to put download Lori's KW. We'll put mobile app. Perfect. And I'm 1 character short. So you guys have up to 30 characters to play with for the title. And once you guys have added that in, you also have access to adjust the subtext. I'm going to leave that as is because I feel like it's a great overview for what the app is going to be doing. However, you can adjust that if you'd like. And again, you have 280 characters to play with. Then you have your download app button. I'm just going to add the word my, again, just to tweak it a little bit. Download my mobile app. And then the beauty is that your redirect button cannot be adjusted. So if for some reason you are unsure of what your mobile app URL is, you actually cannot paste the wrong one in. It will automatically pull that for you. So once you guys have tweaked your headline, if you wanted to tweak your subtext, button text, whatever it may be, we're just going to go ahead and click on Save and Apply on the bottom right-hand corner. Once you guys click on that, you'll see your changes have actually appeared on the left-hand side. So this is essentially our preview. Most of the edits that we'll be doing in class today are going to be done directly on the right-hand side. And this massive section pretty much in the center is the preview of that page. Once you guys have confirmed that looks good to go, we're just going to go ahead and click on Save Changes in the top right-hand corner. Once you guys get this pop-up, I'm just going to explain this really quick for you. What you would normally do is click yes. However, because we are adding so many pages today, I'm going to click on no for all of these again, so we can make all of these live at the end of class. So just so you guys know, if you're only adding 1 page, you can click on yes, and it will bring you to where you would make that page live instantly. Again, I'm going to be clicking no for the entire class. That way we can crank out all of these pages and then go back and make them live all at the same time. Just a little bit less jumping around for you guys. So I'm just going to click on no. And then you'll notice when you guys click on that, it's going to bring us right back to where we were, agent site pages. You'll see we have our new pages created. It has its label. It tells me the date that it was created. And then I have an eyeball icon. When I hover over this, it says it's not available because it's not yet live. Again, we're going to be doing that right at the end of class. We'll go through and make all of these live together. But if you guys ever question whether a page is live on your website or maybe why it's not populating, this is a great way to tell. If it's a gray eyeball, it means it's not active on your website. Teal means that it's a live page. Once you guys have done that, we're just going to go ahead and click on Create a New Page again. We're going to select on my agent site and then create page. For this one, we're going to be doing a mortgage calculator. So for this, I'm just going to give it a title. And once I have my title in there, in order to actually get the mortgage calculator code, it is a third-party site. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys. And I'll pull this up really quick. And I'll drop the URL in the chat for you, just so you guys all have access to it. And again, if you guys are following along with the recording, this is actually hyperlinked in all of my notes as well. And I just got a question in the chat in regards to editing existing pages. You actually cannot edit pages at this time. It is a known glitch that is going on. We are hopeful that it will be updated soon. Regularly, you can edit existing pages. However, at this time, they're running some updates on it, so you cannot edit them. So don't panic if you do try to go in and edit a page. It will be hopefully updated soon. So once I'm back just to my command page and I have my title in, we're just going to get this page set up so we can then copy the code over. In order to actually save a page, and essentially this means custom content, a third-party widget, whatever you guys are looking to add, you need to use one of these widgets. You'll notice here that I actually can't save anything without having one of these widgets added. So in order to make sure that that is doable, I'm going to just use my download my app widget again. And all I'm going to do is drag and drop it. And then in order to add my custom content, I'm going to go ahead and click on content blocks. And that should be right above configure widgets. Once you guys click on content blocks, you'll see that you have two options. You have an image and then you have a text. We're going to go ahead and click on text. And what we're going to do is the exact same way as we dragged that widget over, we're going to drag that text box over. And we're going to make sure that we're dropping it right above that mobile app widget. You'll notice that we have a green line right on top of it. If your green line is underneath, you want to make sure that it's showing on top of that. And we're just going to drop our text box there. So your page should look pretty similar to mine. It should say insert your text, and then we have our mobile app widget right underneath. Once you guys have that, we're just going to go over to the URL. I did just drop it in the chat as well. And this is the mortgage calculator code. Again, if you guys are watching the recording, these should be in chronological order on the actual notes, but they're all labeled as well. And the actual code has been copied and pasted there for you, just so you guys have it. But if you guys are following along with the live class, if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see step 2, copy your source code. All we're going to do is click copy to clipboard. And this is just going to copy that massive code for us. And once you guys have done that, it should flash really quick and just say copied. Once you guys have done that, we're just going to go ahead and go back to command. And then we're just going to select our insert your text. Just make sure it's highlighted. That way, when we right click and paste this code, it's going to replace that. So we'll right click and I'm just going to paste my code in. And now you guys should have this ginormous code. And once you guys have that, I'm just going to go ahead and select my code. So I should have kind of like that pink purple overlay. Then we're just going to click this link icon. If you hover over it, it should say link. We're just going to go ahead and click on that. And then it will actually populate the widget. And you'll see that this is a fully interactive mortgage calculator. Pretty cool. And once you guys have that added and it's showing up for you, we're just going to go ahead and click on Save Changes in the top right-hand corner. Same thing as before. I'm going to go ahead and click No, and we're going to go back and make all of these live later, just so we can get through the next couple of pages. Once you guys have done that and we're back on our main page, we're going to do create a new page again. This is going to get very repetitive, so I apologize, because we're going to be adding a couple more pages. We're going to make sure agent and site is the one that's always selected and create page. For this one, we're going to be doing the Homekeeper widgets. If you do not have a Homekeeper account, don't panic. We can set one up for you. If you have a Homekeeper account and you just don't know what it is, you can reset your login on their website, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what that is. If you guys have a Homekeeper account and maybe you need a new one or whatever it may be, you can email us. Shoot us an email and just say, I need a Homekeeper login. You can send that over to support@scottleroymarketing.com, and you can notate that you're in the 201 class or you were watching the 201 class, and they'll just get that login generated for you and send it back. You can always come back and watch the recording later on today on how to do this, so don't panic. But to start, we're going to start off with the blog. So I'm just going to get my page set up. That way we can then log into Homekeeper and grab that blog code and go from there. So I'm just going to label this blog. That way I know what it is. And then the cool thing about the Homekeeper blog, if you guys have never used Homekeeper, it's a fantastic platform. We actually have a tip video specifically on Homekeeper too, that just kind of goes over what you guys have available to you. Homekeeper is essentially a platform that allows you guys to share your vendors. So if you guys have specific vendors that you use, it allows you to actually share them on an interactive widget or an interactive page right on your website. It's pretty cool. That being said, they also offer a actual blog, a real estate blog that's available to you guys. It self-populates. You guys don't have to maintain it. All of their articles are based on real estate, what to know when selling your home, what to prep for, how to deal with the seasons, how to deal with snow. Like there's articles for everybody, and it automatically updates itself. You would essentially add the code that we're adding today and you'll never look back. It will take care of everything for you. So it's pretty cool. So as far as getting this page set up, this is going to be the one that we actually use our company profile widget, just because I think it makes it look nice and clean. So all we're going to do is we're just going to drag and drop that company profile on our blank slate. And it should look exactly like this. And we're going to go ahead and delete all of that jargon that's populating there already, so don't worry. But once you guys have dragged and dropped that widget on your blank section, we're going to go ahead and click on Configure Widgets on the bottom right. And then we'll click on Company Profile. And then we're just going to go ahead and essentially make this ready for our blog code. Headline, I usually just call this real estate blog. You guys can call it Homekeeper blog, whatever you guys like. We just generally call it real estate blog. Underneath that, we have our intro text. This is actually going to be where our code is going to go. So all I'm going to do for right now is just delete it. That way it just says right here in that gray, just so I know that it is completely empty. If you guys want to change your header, you can. I'm not going to, just because it fits pretty much what we're going to be going for. But if there is something specific, you can adjust that. Just make sure that you've checked the dimensions. These headers are very specific, so they do have to be resized accordingly. Underneath that, we are literally going to be deleting all of this. So all I'm going to do is just backspace. So I have kind of that background text, enter heading, just delete everything. For your section 1 text, you're going to see that there's a little red asterisk. That means that it's required. So in order to kind of bypass this, we're just going to do a space. And then I'm just going to keep deleting everything. Click on the little trash can for the image. We'll delete that. None of this is required, so we're just going to keep deleting all of it. And I'll give you guys a second just to kind of, I'll zoom out. That way you can make sure everything is deleted. So footer text, you'll see that I just have like that suggestive text right underneath. Nothing is actually there. Zoom back in a little bit. Section 1, you should have a little space. Just a space, that's it. Nice and simple. And then everything else should be blank except for your headline. Once you guys have made sure that your page is essentially set up, we're ready to go. We're going to go get that code. In order to get that code, we're just going to go to homekeeper.com. I actually have it pulled up on my Google browser. For some reason, Homekeeper does not play nice with Firefox. So if you are using Firefox, you may have to open up Chrome. I'm in Chrome right now, and I just went to home.homekeeper.com, and I will paste that. into the chat for you guys. And this is all in the notes too. So again, if you guys are just kind of listening to this and not following along exactly for everything, don't worry, everything is notated in the notes. Again, they are going to be hyperlinked underneath the recording. So if you guys are watching the recording, you can pause the video and open the notes and it will have all of this for you as well. Once you guys are on this page, you're just gonna see sign in on the top right-hand corner. And we're just gonna click on it and then we'll get some options. We're gonna select the first one, realtors. And then you guys should see this page. If you already have a Homekeeper login and you are just unsure what that password is, this is where you can actually reset it by entering the email that your account is under and clicking Forgot Password. If you know what your login is, you're just going to go ahead and type that in. And then we're just going to log in. Once you guys do log in, it should have all of this red. What that red means is that it's a Keller Williams platform. You guys are actually given a free premium Homekeeper account because you are Keller Williams agents. So if you guys log in and it's either showing up not as red, it's showing up as blue and the orange, they're Homekeeper colors, chances are it's not a KW account, which is fine. However, you won't have the same access. So my personal recommendation would just be to shoot us an email and just say, hey, I need a Homekeeper account. I want it under blank email and we'll take care of setting that up. It does need to be set up under an email that is not currently associated with Homekeeper. So just keep that in mind. But we can assist you with getting that kind of all set up for you. Because again, this is a great tool. If you guys have not yet dabbled with this, I would recommend checking out our tip as well. And I'll actually add that to the notes for you guys, just so you can kind of see, again, what's available. Once you guys are on this page, the section that we're primarily going to be working with is going to be the My Widgets. You'll notice it should have a massive number 2, and we're going to be adding both of them to our website. So all I'm going to do is just click on Embed Widget. Once this pops up, it automatically puts you on the Trusted Pros widget first. We're actually going to be doing the blog, so I'm just going to click on the blog tab. And once you guys click on that, it should show you a preview. So these are just some examples of the blogs that have been posted. For example, this one was done on March 8th. So this was from 2 days ago. They tend to post usually 2 to 4 blogs, depending on the time of year, to their actual blogs platform. So in other words, as you guys add this in, you will never have to look back. This is going to auto-populate. It's going to auto-update right on your website, which is why this code is so great. It just kind of allows everything to populate for you. There's no maintenance. So once you guys are on this platform, JavaScript is not a compatible code for the command platform. So we're going to be using iframe, which is the second code populating. All we're going to do is just click on copy code, very similar to that mortgage calculator, and you'll get that little copied pop-up. Once you guys have done that, I'm just going to go back to command. I'm just going to drag that over. If you guys are in Firefox and you're having trouble, try opening it in Chrome. For some reason, they just don't play nice. And I'm doing everything in Firefox today. Once I'm back in command, I'm just going to click where my intro text is. It should be the second box down. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste that code in. Once I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Save and Apply at the bottom of the page. And this is actually going to populate that blog for you. It does take a second. Don't panic. It does usually take a second for it to actually populate. And this line, you can ignore that. It will go away. But you'll see that this is the actual blog and it pulls it over. Once you guys have that, we're just going to go ahead and click on Save Changes in the top right-hand corner. Same as last time, we're going to click on No, just so we can go back and add them in later. And then we're going to set up our vendor page. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to click on Create New Page on my agent site and Create Page. You guys are going to be pros at this by the end of class. And exactly. So JavaScript is not compatible with command. You guys are going to use the iframe code. It's right underneath that JavaScript code. For this one, it's going to be our vendors. So we're just going to go ahead and put vendors right here. And what this is going to allow you to do is pull the Homekeeper vendors to your website. The cool thing about the vendors section of Homekeeper is it will actually allow you to pull not only your Keller Williams office vendors, some brokerages actually have essentially like a brokerage account. So once you select your office name, it will pull any vendors that your office has approved, but you can also link it to your board. Again, kind of cool. So in other words, if you guys are with a specific MLS board, you guys can actually select your MLS board under Homekeeper and it will populate all of their vendors that they've pre-approved for that area. And then by adding this widget that we're adding right now, it's going to allow your clients to actually search for that, for lawn guys, for lawyers, for plumbers, for electricians, whatever it may be, they'll have access to actually find that right on your website. So this is a great tool to have on your site. It just gives your clients a little bit more value. In order to get this one set up, we're actually going to use our agent profile. And all I'm going to do is just exactly like the other ones, just drag and drop that to my blank slate. And once we have that populating, we're going to manipulate this. That way our bio is actually going to be their widget. So we're just going to go ahead and click on Configure Widgets and tweak it and get that ready for the code. Click on Configure Widgets. And then we're just going to click on Agent Profile. Once this comes up, I'm going to leave her headshot there just so it, again, has a little bit more personalization. Page title, I'm going to change that, and you guys can tweak this again, however you see fit. You guys can label this trusted vendors, trusted pros, local vendors, whatever you'd like. I'm going to put local trusted vendors. For role and company, I'm just going to put a space. That will essentially get rid of lead listing agent of Royal Realtors. You can put something there if you'd like, if you want to put covered in what area or provided by Homekeeper, provided by your board, whatever you'd like. I'm just going to put a space there though. It's whatever you guys want. For the bio title, I'm going to do the exact same thing, just put a space. That's going to get rid of the about Lori because this page is about to not be about Lori. It's actually going to be that vendor widget. Then we have our agent bio. For this, you want to make sure that you are selecting all of the text and deleting it. So you should see enter agent bio here. And if you're not seeing that, it means that you're missing some of the text. So you do want to make sure that you are deleting everything. Underneath that, you guys are going to see your contact title. We're not really going to finish with that only because this is actually something that you want to populate. If you scroll down a little bit, it's going to say contact Lori, and then it has her phone number in her email. The only thing we are going to make sure is that we retype our agent number in here. For some reason, this widget does not save that information. So you do want to make sure that you type that back in. And it will automatically format it for you. But you just want to make sure that your cell phone number is added in right here. You have to manually type that. If you don't manually type it and you click save and apply, it will not save the page and it will actually continue to spin and you'll have to redo the page. So definitely make sure you're retyping in your mobile number. Once you guys have done that, our bio section is now angry and outlined in red. We're going to go ahead and grab our code for the vendor section. So I'm just going to go back to my Homekeeper page. And once we're on here, we're just going to go back to that first tab, the My Trusted Pros widget. And then same thing as before, it gives you that JavaScript code, but it also gives you iframe. We are going to be using the iframe code. Underneath that, it's just a brief preview. This is exactly what's going to be populating there. So your clients will have access to search. They can type in a zip code, and this is going to be all of the options that they have access to click on. If you guys have not yet added vendors to this platform, don't worry, you can always add the widget in and then either just not make the page live, or you guys can go ahead and add them in later on today. If you are going to be adding in the vendors from your board or from your brokerage, that is completely fine. In that case, you would essentially want to contact Homekeeper and they can get those added in for you. Again, I'm going to attach the Homekeeper tip to the notes as well. I would definitely take it out, take a chance to take a look at it. I want to say it's like 15 minutes long, but it shows you guys how to actually import vendor lists as well. So if you guys have like an Excel spreadsheet, you can actually import them in here. Again, pretty cool. I love this tool. So for this, all I'm going to do is just click on copy code. And again, we're using the iframe option. And once we've done that, I'm just going to go back to my command, and then I'm just going to paste that code right into the bio. Once you guys have done that, we're just going to go ahead and click on Save and Apply. And there you go. Once we've actually confirmed that it's showing up correctly, we're just going to click on Save Changes again. And then we'll click on No, just so we can make that page live afterwards. And I just got a question. If your page is already live, if you guys previously added this and now you want to add vendors, if you guys add vendors to your Homekeeper account, they'll automatically populate through that widget. That's the beauty of that iframe code. It will automatically update as you make adjustments to your account. And again, if you guys need to add like a list of vendors in, you don't have to sit there and add them in one by one. Homekeeper support will import them for you. So just throw together a list in Excel. And if you guys don't have login information for Homekeeper, again, just shoot us an email, support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we will take care of it for you. Safari is not compatible with Command. I just got a question that came through for that. If you guys are using Safari to add these pages, chances are you might be having some issues. Safari is not a compatible browser with Command. So I would recommend using Firefox if you're a Mac user. That's actually what I'm using right now. I'm running through a Mac. But if you guys have any issues with it, just let us know. So last but not least, I want to show you guys how to add a school widget. This is actually going to allow your clients to search for local schools, which again, kind of a cool tool. It's just going to allow some value to your website. And all I'm going to do is go ahead and click on create a new page. I promise there's only one more page after this. And then we're just going to click on create page. And yes, today's class is recorded. So if you guys do have to hop off, this will be on our YouTube channel later today. Once your blank page is up, you guys can title this whatever you'd like. This is essentially going to be a school search, so I'm just going to call it School Widget. And once you guys have it titled, we're actually going to be using the agent profile one again. I just love how it looks. I think it looks very streamlined. It kind of allows you to center everything. It looks clean. It provides your contact information. So I use this widget a lot. You can technically just drop this code on your page. I just like the agent profile because, again, it looks clean and streamlined. So we're going to do the exact same thing and just drag and drop that. Once we have that set up, we're going to go ahead and configure our widgets once more. And I'm getting some questions in the chat right now in regards to the recording. If you guys shoot us an email just asking for the URL, support@scottleroymarketing.com, we'll make sure to send that back over to you. And then I'm just going to click on agent profile. Once you guys have this up, we're going to do the exact same thing as our last widget. We're just going to tweak this and kind of manipulate it so we can use it for that school search. So for this, for the title, what I usually label it is local school search. And then underneath that, you guys are just going to want to put, for rolling company, you guys can either put a space, or I'm just going to put search for schools in your area. And again, you guys can tweak that however you see fit. Underneath that, we have our bio title, which I'm just going to put a space in order to just get rid of that little verbiage right there. And then for bio, we do want to delete the entire thing. So make sure that you have that suggestive text populating the enter agent bio. Contact Lori, I'm going to leave that as is. However, same as the last one, we do need to retype in that mobile number. So we are going to go ahead and type that in, 503. You guys want to make sure that's your mobile number. Once you guys have that added, we're going to pull up the local schools page, and I'll share that with you guys right now. Pull that back up. And I'll drop that in the chat for you guys. Again, if you're following along with the recording, it is all in the notes for you. And once you guys have this page up, you're just going to add in your information. So choose address, zip code, city, state. I actually don't know what area she is out of, so I'm just going to do Orlando. Size of your widget, we're going to leave it as is. For email, I should know her contact information by heart by now. We'll copy that. You guys should know your email, so you guys can just paste that in. And then our website URL, this is going to be the actual website that you guys are using this widget for. So if you're using your command website, you would type that full URL in. Hers, I believe. And then agree to terms and service and get code. So you'll just want to put in your city and state. We're not changing the size, your email address, URL for the site that you guys are adding this on. I'm pretty sure that's her URL, but I might be wrong. You'll want to make sure that you do put your actual URL in there, and then just check the little box for terms of service and then get code. And it actually gives you a preview too of the map. If you guys aren't in Orlando, your map will look different than mine. However, the overall gist should be pretty similar. It lets you see all of the schools that are populating. From here, we're just going to make sure that we select the entire code. I just triple clicked and it highlighted everything. And I'm just going to copy that. Once you guys have that copied, jump back to command. We're going to do the exact same thing and just paste that code in your bio. One thing I do recommend doing, only because this code or this widget is a little bit smaller, is at the beginning of the code, if you scroll all the way up, we're just going to enter in like the open caret and then the word center and then the close caret. I don't know what you guys would call those, greater than, less than symbols. So greater than, less than symbols, center, and then you'll close it. And then we're going to put the exact same thing at the bottom. All this is going to do is it's actually going to center this widget for you. So in other words, if somebody's looking at this on a smaller screen or a larger screen, it's going to center it right in the middle here. The vendor widget that we just previously added automatically does that for you. This one will not. So by adding this in, it's just going to auto adjust for your clients. It will essentially look as clean as possible, no matter who is looking at it or what device they're on. So we're going to add the exact same thing, center. And this is a great thing to keep in mind if you guys are ever adding a widget code, that will center it. Put center at the beginning and center at the end. Once you guys have done that, make sure your mobile number is added again, or else it will make you redo the page. So make sure that's added. And then we're just going to click on save and apply. And then you guys will see that page is perfectly centered. From here, we're just going to go ahead and click on Save Changes. And then for this one, we're going to click on Yes. That way we can make these pages live. And then I'm going to show you guys how to actually add in past sales really quick from an actual document. So again, for this one, we're going to click on Yes. If you guys already clicked on No, don't panic. I'll show you guys how to get over to it. But for this one, we are going to click on Yes. And it should bring us right in here. If you guys did happen to click No, I'll pull it up really quick. It will bring you guys back to this section. All you're going to do is click on Site and App Settings. And once you guys are on this page, you'll click on Agent Site Pages, which is the last icon. And that's where that, when clicking Yes, this is where it's going to bring you. I'll X out of that one just so I only have one page open. Once we're on here, we're just going to go ahead and make these pages live. So all we're going to do, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit because my screen is very small. All we're going to do is click on Add Page. And this is going to get repetitive, so I apologize. And we're just going to start with the mobile app. We'll just make sure that bubble is selected. And then we'll click on Continue. And once we've done that, we're just going to add in this information. So for our page title, we're going to add in, again, you guys can tweak this however you see fit. You can do free mobile search app, download my mobile app, whatever you guys want. I'm going to put download my mobile app. So you do have to actually publish it in order to see it. Outside of the previews that you guys have been seeing, so for example, all of those previews that we're showing right here, that is essentially the only preview that you have access to. And once you saved it, you can't get back in there. However, this does go live instantly. So if for some reason you add it, you don't like it, I'm actually going to show you guys how to remove pages as well. So don't panic. If for some reason you do want to take one down, you can remove it instantly. It all updates in real time. There's no turnaround. For your URL slug, I'm just going to go ahead and put mobile-app. You'll notice that the URL slugs, it's essentially the tail end of the URL. You can't use spaces or special characters. So if it is something that you would like a space to be recognized, you'll use a dash. For our SEO description, I'm going to put search for homes on the go with our free Keller Williams mobile app. And again, you guys can put whatever you'd like for the SEO. That's essentially the description of the page. So if someone were to come across this page on Google or a search engine, this is just going to be the brief synopsis that pulls up with that URL. And these are all notated in the notes as well if you guys just want to copy and paste. And then I'm just going to click on save. And that page is live, right when you guys get that green ribbon. We're going to click on Add Page again, and we're just going to work our way up the list. So next is Mortgage Calculator. We'll select that bubble. And this is why titling them is so important, labeling those pages when you come back to make them live, or if you ever decide to go back and make an edit, having that title is just going to allow you to find it a little bit quicker. And then we're just going to click on Continue. Mortgage Calculator. Our slug, I'll do the same thing. Dash. And then for our SEO, I'm just going to put Mortgage Calculator to assist with the home buying process. And once you guys have the page title, slug, and the SEO description, we're just going to go ahead and click on save. Onto that next page. And you guys can tweak this later too. So if there's more information you want to add, don't panic. You guys can come in here and tweak this at any time. Add page once more. We'll do blog. Continue. I'm going to label this real estate blog, just like we did for our title. And then for the slug, I'm just going to put blog. Keep it short and sweet. And then for our SEO, I'm going to put real estate blog and updates. And then once you guys have that added, we'll click on save once more. And then we'll add one more page, or actually 2 more pages. Then we have our vendors. We'll select that bubble and continue. And whatever you guys titled this original page, you guys can essentially either use that again or you can tweak it, whatever you want. For this one, I think I did local trusted vendors. Or trusted local vendors. I did trusted local vendors. For the slug, you guys can either keep the entire title. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet again and just put vendors. So the way that we're adding these right now, they are in this order. Again, I'm going to show you guys how to actually reorganize them as well. So if you guys want them in a different order, we'll be able to change that once we have all the pages added. And you guys, I just got another question in the chat. Can we add custom forms? If it's like a Google Doc, you can technically add those. You can embed them. However, it would depend on the actual form if you're looking for it to be interactive. For our SEO description, I'm going to put Lori's trusted local vendors. And you guys can put your full name or whatever you'd like if you guys are a team, spouse team, whatever it may be. And then I'm just going to save it. And then add our last page, which is our school widget. And then click on continue. And then for this one, I'm just going to put local school search for my title. And same thing for my slug, local school search. And then for my SEO description, I'm just going to put search for schools in your area. And you guys can tweak this. Again, none of this is set in stone, nor is any of this essentially mandatory. You guys can tweak the verbiage on any of this, the slugs, the titles, descriptions, whatever you guys want. Once you guys have gone ahead and updated that, we're just going to click on save. And once you guys get that green ribbon saying that it's been saved, you guys can actually reorganize these just by dragging and dropping them. Each time that you guys are reorganizing it, you'll want to save. So if you guys are moving a bunch around, that's completely fine. But before moving on, you want to make sure that you click save. You guys can just kind of reorganize those. Once you guys have done that and you've clicked save, you've saved the organization, you can go ahead and click back on agent site pages. And now the first thing you guys will see, all of your eyeballs are now populating as being teal, which means that they are all live on your website. And now we can actually pull up our website. And once this comes up, you'll see our brokerage logo from our marketing profile shows up. Team logo is showing up correctly. Click accept cookies. We also have a tip video that I added to the notes on how to add featured listings. So if you guys have featured listings you want to add, they do have to be live. So you do need to make sure that they are actually live listings. But you can add those in there. All of your information should be showing up here. Again, that will pull from your marketing profile. And then your team name, titles your actual drop-down list. And these are all of the pages that we added. And you guys can actually go through. We'll start with that one. And it will just show you exactly what we added. So our mobile app page, real estate blog, these pages do take a second to load the first time you go to them. So again, don't worry, this isn't something that will happen all the time. It's just because it's the first time you're actually going to that page. So it does take a second to populate. Mortgage calculator. Moving down, vendors. And then school. And they all populate. I did just get a question in regards to going back in and editing a page. Unfortunately, you cannot edit existing pages right now. The page would have to be completely recreated. We are hopeful that that will be updated soon. Previously, you were able to adjust pages through designs. However, as of right now, when you go to actually edit them, it brings you back to the home screen. It is a known issue. It should be corrected soon. But as of right now, if you are looking to make any edits to the pages that we just created, you would need to completely recreate that page. In regards to adding completely custom content, I want to show you guys really quick how to add that in, just so you can see what it will look like. Today, what I've done is I just have a Word document. It's just a Google Doc that has sold properties, has an image, some basic information on that property, another image, basic information on that property, and it's just in a Google Doc. You guys can do this on a Word document, text document, whatever format you guys want. But the beauty of doing it in a Word document or a Google Doc is it allows you to kind of format it first. So in other words, if you guys want to change the text, you want to make it larger, you want to underline it, you want something to be centered, or you want the image to be a little bit smaller, larger, italicized font, whatever you guys want, you can tweak it on here. And when you copy and paste this into that custom page, it's going to copy and paste it exactly with that formatting. So I'm just going to show you guys how to add it. If you guys have not yet put together your information, don't worry. Again, today's class is recorded, so you can jump back on later and just watch the tail end of the class. We also have a tip video that goes over how to do this specifically as well. So I'm just going to get my page set up really quick, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on my create a new page again, and make sure on my agent site is selected and click on create page. From here, I'm just going to call this past sales. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing that we did for that mortgage calculator. And I'm going to use my mobile app, and then I'm going to use a text box. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop my mobile app. And then I'll click on my content blocks. And I'm going to be using that text icon. So I'm just going to drag and drop. From here, I'm just going to select that. That way, when I go to paste my stuff in, it will just replace that insert your text because I don't want that to populate. I'm going to come back to my custom pages, and all I'm going to do is just highlight everything. And I'll make sure it's all highlighted, and I'm just going to copy it. And then I'll go back to command, and I already have my replacement text highlighted. I'm just going to right click on it and paste that in. And that's going to add my information exactly how I had it on the Word document. So pretty cool, makes things a little bit easier if you already have it formatted in that Word doc, or again, you guys can use Google Documents as well. It's just going to allow you to format everything. From here, in order to make sure that this stays centered, no matter who is looking at it on any device, we're going to go ahead and just configure this a little bit further. So if you guys have something that you're adding to your website down the line, maybe it's an image or a video or whatever it may be, once you guys have that added, while your text box is still highlighted, you'll see I still have that blue perimeter, meaning that I'm still in my text box. I'm going to go ahead and click on that paintbrush right underneath Save Changes. Once I click on that, I'm going to expand dimension. For width, I'm just going to type in 1,000. You guys can adjust this how you see fit. For this, I'm going to do 1,000. And you'll see exactly what this does too. It's just going to essentially shrink this down and center it. That way, if someone happens to be on a laptop or maybe a smaller screen, I'm on a very large monitor right now, but if someone maybe pulls this up on their cell phone or something like that, it's just going to allow it to adjust a little bit cleaner. Once I've typed in my 1,000 for width, for margin, you'll see we have right and left. All I'm going to do is replace that 0 with auto, the word auto, A-U-T-O. And then for left, I'm going to do the exact same thing. And then once I click outside of that, it's going to center that for. And you'll see that it essentially shrunk that down for me and it centered it. And that just allows you to confirm that this is going to stay centered. From here, I can go ahead and just click on Save Changes in the top right-hand corner, and it's going to lock everything in for me, and I can make this page live. I'll click on Yes for this one, just so I can show you guys exactly what it will look like. I'll click on Add Page. I have my past sales, and then I'll click on Continue. And I'm just going to call it past sales. That way we can pull this up on the live page and just show you guys exactly what it looks like. My SEO description is going to be short and sweet, just so we can show you guys what it's going to look like. I'll drag that up a little bit too. Maybe we want this to be right underneath our bio page, nice and simple. And once I've confirmed it's in the order I want, I can come back to my website. I'm just going to refresh this. And then when I click on my drop-down list, my new page is here. And then this is what it will essentially look like on your website. And you'll notice that if you guys zoom in and out, it will actually stay centered now. It won't adjust based on how zoomed in I am or how zoomed out I am, meaning that if somebody happens to, again, be on a larger monitor, I'm on a larger monitor, if you guys are on a smaller desktop or a smaller laptop, it will still stay centered for you. So that's how you guys can actually center your custom information that you're adding. If you guys are interested in adding featured listings, testimonials, or if you guys have specific content that you're looking to add, that would be the best route to do your specific content. And then for testimonials and featured listings, we have tip videos that I will drop into the notes. So if you guys grabbed that URL that I posted earlier, and I'll post it again, and it will be underneath the recording. If you guys go into that, everything will be broken down, and I'll make sure that those notes have everything in there for you. And if you guys have any questions, or if something just didn't look the way that ours did, or if you guys are stuck on something, just let us know. Shoot us an email over to support@scottleroymarketing.com. Again, it's support@scottleroymarketing.com, and just let us know. You guys can put attention 201 class, 201 website class, and we can take a look and just see what's going on. And I appreciate you guys coming to class today. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.